What's up, guys? How we doing today? You know, on a semi-personal note, I just want to let everybody know, like, I myself don't have the coronavirus. Nobody I know personally has it, and I really hope that I have not been in contact with anybody that has it. And I hope the same goes for anybody watching this. The thing is that, on a case by case basis, the reality is some people are dying from this, and I think that shows some the lethality of this virus. And not everybody who has got it is passing, but you know that's not to take it for granted either. Some people are getting it, they incubate, they pass it by, and they've some people have moved on, and some people it's just really literally taking them all the way to till they expire. And that's not really anything to play around about. And I know, and I will hypocrite myself about this. I've made some light gesture comments about it, but in all reality, I understand the magnitude of really how widespread this thing has carried literally so far. And one thing that I really want to try to keep in perspective is, and I hope anybody shares this opinion. You don't have to, but this virus going around could affect at any given time the people that we love and hold dearest, the closest, the most to us, to our hearts. And I know we wouldn't want that. There's, and that's when that situation becomes about, hopefully not when, and hopefully not if. I don't want it to happen to anybody, but if that was to be the case, I mean, any joking that anybody has done about it would not be the laughing matter case anymore. So maybe that's something that we should probably take into perspective as we move forward with this, until we can get back to a sense of normalcy and how we operate. Obviously, a lot of school districts are closing. Those of you that have kids or know people with kids, or they are going through this situation. Kids are being told to stay home by their school districts, or whatever the case is. Not just elementary schools, I mean high schools, universities, places of higher learning institutions. It's really causing a lot of unrest in a lot of places. Some businesses are really taking a hit from this. Restaurants are being told to either close down or limit the way they operate their services. And when you think about it, and it's not just restaurants, there's other businesses that are affected by this, in the private sector, kind of thing. Some jobs are telling their employees to stay home, and maybe not fully reimbursing them for their services that they would have otherwise provided at work. And at the end of the day, all of us, we're all trying to create economy for ourselves, for our families, for our communities. And now we're being told to stay home. Not being told, but we're really being suggested to stay home. And it's like, this is our daily operation of life. We get up, we go to work, we go take care of our errands, we go handle our business, and then we can return home. So there is some inconvenience that's going around, and I would tell people, just be mindful of the fact that there's some people that really have became almost to the point of not being able to provide anymore, and through no fault of their own. And how can you really make a joke about people that are really having some of their livelihoods, whether literally because they've contracted this virus or indirectly because jobs, businesses, local, state, federal governments are saying, we have to stay home, you can't go to work. The businesses are having to oblige, by those, kinds of mandates coming down. And, you say, well, I gotta eat, I gotta feed, I gotta provide, I gotta clothe, I got a roof. Those are the things that, depend on me, going to work and doing such things. So, I'm not preaching here. I'm just saying, if it doesn't hurt, to be a little bit mindful. Some people are, coping with this by making jokes about it. Some people are, trying to get by, or really just not even taking, this serious. They're not believing fully in the magnitude of it. And that's not necessarily irresponsible, but I think the fact that a huge, large amount of us are not really fully informed about everything that we can gather. I mean, we are getting the information that we are getting, but sometimes maybe it's just my skepticism. I think we're not really getting the full scale of information that we could, and really as citizens we should be getting, because we're the ones that have to be dealing with this on a every second of the day level. So and almost within minutes things can change. If you've seen the cycle of the way things are going, that's literally how it's been. 1 hour you can hear something completely different than you heard the previous hour. And I think it's kind of time for us to maybe hunker down. When I say hunker down, I mean you don't have to barricade yourself in your houses and isolate and quarantine. You don't really have to go like the full extreme. But when I say hunker down, I mean let's take time to settle down, gather absolutely every single piece of information that we can, I think, before we react / overreact. And when I speak of reacting / overreacting, I am going to mention the panic buying, the panic shopping that's been going around. To me personally, it's kind of insane. When I say overreact, if you have a TV or a cell phone with internet signal, I'm pretty sure you've seen the actions and the overreactions going around at certain shopping centers, grocery stores, Costco's, Walmart's, and the like. People are just stockpiling on certain things that, maybe even a month ago they wouldn't have even bought a single portion of. Now they're buying, cases of certain things. And, you say, well, why weren't you doing that before? And people were going to say, well, this wasn't the situation before. And it's like, okay, that's only semi-understandable, because like I mentioned, we don't really know the full scale of what's going on out there. And it's just so much I call it quick to rush judgment, as far as we're rushing judgment on what we think is going to happen with this. We think we're going to be told to stay in our houses and not come out until told. And as far as I know, that hasn't come down. So it's overreacting. I feel like, why? We can't consider ourselves responsible adults, if we just, like I said, quick to rush judgment, we're rushing into, deciding how to act in the face of something that, we don't fully understand, like I mentioned. So if you don't fully understand something, how can you react to it? How can you even overreact to something if you don't even know how to act towards, the fact of not having all the information that you can have or you should have? So, I can understand a lot of people, you can't fix their mentality when it comes to that kind of thing, but all I can tell anybody is, be responsible. The things that you weren't doing a month ago, as far as, if you weren't overstocking, the shelves in your house with stuff that, like I said, you weren't buying single portions of, then you don't really need to stock your house with it. And when it comes to that, it's like, well, I'm just asking, like, why? Why even go down that route? And it just brings about a situation where you've seen it, people go to stores and they're looking for just small portions of things that they can't get any of, because, it doesn't work like that. When somebody buys all the portions of something that they don't need, and then one person goes to find one portion of something that they really need, and it's not there because the person that bought it that didn't need it has all of it. So that's just it. Number one, it's unfair, it's hugely irresponsible. So all I can tell anybody, or hope for anybody, is, gather all your information. Please take the time to, not overreact. The only thing I can say is that the things that you maybe weren't doing previously that you could or should be doing now, is maybe an increase in, your hygiene process. I know for a fact, we had this talk at my job the other day. There's people that literally use restrooms without being very sanitary, before or after. And, that is hugely irresponsible. It don't take much to wash your hands before or after. We all got to use the restroom. I know we don't like to talk about it to other people, but it happens. So, since we all got to do it, I really don't see the difficulty in taking those precious, couple of seconds afterwards to, sanitize, yourself, get a little, antibacterial action going on, and then, we can proceed. But mainly the whole point of, my address here is for us to just be responsible. I really can't go any other way about it. So if there's anything that any of us want to, communicate with, you guys know I'm always here. Whatever, and I don't, if you guys know me, I really don't like to get political when I'm sharing with you guys. So all I can say is, if there's any, governmental procedures that are getting announced, that are getting handed down, my advice would be to just, try to follow it to the letter, the best you can, with the best intentions. Don't just adamantly disregard it. And that's why, I'm saying I don't like to get political, because some people are gonna hear an ordainment of something and just totally disregard it, and some people are gonna, completely overreact to it. There's no real middle ground for that. it doesn't take much to just, step by step follow letters of the law, especially if it's acting in the best interest of helping us as a society, eradicate possibly and move on from everything that's, causing the unrest that we see out here in our world, the whole world, but, in our collective worlds individually. So, like I said, I just want to see people being responsible out there. Let's cut down the panic shopping, panic buying. Let's make sure we assess all the proper information that is getting out there to us. Cross-check it. You may get some information that says one thing, and then you may see some information that completely contradicts it. You shouldn't have to decide which one is right. You should try to completely immerse yourself in which, prevailing amount of information is going to, be the best way going forward. So that's why I said, don't just take one piece of information and run with it. And then that could be hugely irresponsible, because it may be, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it may not be the most beneficial out there unless it's completely cross-checked with multiple sources. Excuse me, a little dehydrated today. But I just, like I said, I should be more responsible with my hydration, maybe because I can't get any water in the stores because everybody's out there buying too much of it that they don't need. Somebody wasn't buying 36 cases of bottled water a month ago, and now they can't find space in their house for it because they don't need it. They didn't need it before. They didn't have space for it because they never needed it before. They don't even need it now. But okay, so I went off on a little tangent there. But like I said, responsibility. Just we're adults. If we have kids, we need to be the responsible ones, because we're the ones leading the charge for our children to follow. And not just our, personal children, but we have to be the generation that, sets the precedent for the generation after us to follow. So if we don't lead by good example, how can we expect the people that we're leading to follow in good footsteps? So that's all I can say for today. I know it's been a long diatribe, but I know this thing is really affecting a lot of people that really would not want us to, make light of the situation, would not want us to rush, to overreact in this situation. If you feel sick, if you feel out of your regular sorts, by all means, get the help that you can possibly get as quickly as possible. I definitely don't want to see any more people in this world suffering from this. Too many people have already suffered from it. I wish it would just end already, not just for the sake of, we're missing sports and, we can't go to the restaurant no more, or, all this other stuff. Right now, it's not about what we're missing out on. What I think the main thing is, how can people get back to their regular way of operating? There's people that are in the sports world that depend on getting back to work, that have been out of work because of this. So, those people are, looking for hope, or hoping for a solution to this as well. So I really hope that, we can all come together and act responsibly together and in good faith. And let's have some faith that we will all overcome all of this unrest together that has befallen pretty much the whole world at this point. Keep some prayers out for people that have contracted this, and hope they get well. Let's maintain some preemptive prayer that nobody gets this further going forward. And you know, I just want to see all of us be better and stay better. So I will talk to you guys later.